Hello, everybody. Welcome to Euro Media. Uh, Glad you're tuning in. Thank you for listening. So we'll just jump straight into it. Today I want to cover zombies, do some sort of mini deep dive into the whole zombie genre, zombie phenomenon, zombie obsession, because we all have as human beings nowadays, especially me. The last couple of months I've been watching all sorts of zombie movies. I have no idea why, but it's been an enjoyable ride and it kind of inspired this particular topic. So just going to start with what's a zombie. Well, I'm sure we all know what a zombie is, but according to dictionary.com, it's a mute and willless body robbed of its soul and given a semblance of life by a supernatural force. I would like to add a scientific force to that definition, and you can see over here in definition number 2, an undead creature with a reanimated human body, typically depicted in science fiction or horror stories, as contagious to the living bite and vulnerable only to serious head trauma. So if you ever meet zombies, only headshots, huh? Remember that anyways. So let's get started. The reason for doing this particular video was I was wondering why the obsession with zombies, Why do we have to make so many TV shows, make so many movies? Is it that we are afraid of turning into this one day? So is it like the worst thing that can happen to a human being? Becoming a zombie? I mean, just look at this, yeah? Okay, sorry, not that. Not that. Yeah, this. Look at all this. This is a list of zombie movies that have ever been made. This is like hundreds of movies. Let me try and set them up by year. Since 1932, I've been making zombie movies, ever since film media became invented. Zombie movie after zombie movie after zombie movie. Teenage zombies, Curse of the Doll People. Why? Is it something lacking in the back of our subconscious? Is it some kind of message coming in from the other side of consciousness? I always kind of believe that art comes from a special place, buried deep in our psyche. So maybe it's all messages, sort of warning for humanity. Who knows? Huh? Look at like we are up to 1987, more and more zombie movies. Let me fast forward a bit here till 2020. I mean, I'm not even going to. Okay, I've reached the end. So, what did I watch? Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder. One of the latest movies I've watched about zombies. Look at all this. So, you have to take into consideration like people like CDC, the US Army are sort of taking zombies a bit serious. So maybe we should also do the same. They have this is zombie preparedness guide, Look at this, zombie preparedness for educators, zombie preparedness posters, zombie novels. Do they know something we don't know? Okay. To be fair, on this site they say this is just for educative purposes to kind of create awareness on, I guess, zombie preparedness. So as we dig further into the topic, hopefully can kind of make some sense with the obsession. Is it science fiction or is it something that can actually happen to us in our lifetimes? This is Complan 8888, US Strategic Command. If you Google this document, it says it was made by junior soldiers as part of a mental exercise to prepare for some imaginary zombie outbreak. This is a real document. Look at the zombie threat summary, environmental effects. Yeah. Enemy forces, friendly forces. So someone is actually taking this a bit seriously. So I thought I'd start by just talking about some of my favorite zombie movies and just describe them a little bit so that you can kind of see what is trying to be communicated from the subconscious. If there's any hidden message coming from the other side. So The Crazies was a 2010 film. It was a good movie. I would say it was an 8 out of 10 movie. The plot is the US Army drops some kind of biological stuff into some lake, and after that, the residents start acting. The residents of this small town start acting very strangely. Uh, this movie wasn't really about zombies, but it was about zombie behavior. So these guys started like just being strange, going into murderous escapades, killing family members, just being devoid of emotion, not moving. I just wanted to highlight it because it was a bit different from the traditional zombie, zombie of walking around, trying to bite everyone inside. This one was more zombie calculated murder type. So good movie. I think everyone should watch it. So next film, I Am Legend. I think everyone has watched this movie. Another solid 8 out of 10 movie. This movie, Will Smith is pretty much like the last person left alive after after a major viral outbreak that kills most of humanity. In the movies, zombies are like feral creatures that live in the dark. They weren't decomposing or anything like that, but their behavior was very animal-like. They were very sensitive to light. It was like human beings were evolving backwards in this movie. This movie, the outbreak was caused by, obviously, again, science. So in the year 2007, I guess, or 2006, I don't know which year the movie was set, but they come up with this cancer vaccine and they give it to everyone. And the vaccine has some unintended side effects where people just start devolving and eating the healthy people left alive. Yeah, yeah, it is turning those it does not kill into vampiric, albino, cannibalistic mutants called Darkseekers, who are vulnerable to light and prey on the few who are left unaffected. Uh, so I guess we're developing a pattern. Most of the zombies clearly come from science experiments. Third movie, Maze Runner. This was a great movie. Actually, a set of three movies. On the movies, guys wake up in like this maze-like scenario where they have to find their way out of this experimental city. There was some kind of science experiment being run by the government, I guess. And the point of the movie was to put these guys in like this kind of situations where they had to face their fears. In the movie, there's like a rage virus that is spread around the world, and so scientists think like, that the cure is hidden in these guys' minds. Somehow, the brain chemistry and whatever is going on will lead to them producing some kind of hormone or something that reverses the rage induced by a zombie. Well, this movie is actually pretty good. This is a solid 7 out of 10 movie. Everyone should watch it. There's a trend going. Clearly, is science, science, science. Moving on. 20 days later was a movie, British post-apocalyptic horror drama. In this movie, we see a rage virus against scientists. Still scientists, but yeah. So a highly contagious aggression-inducing virus called rage is unleashed in Great Britain after infected chimpanzees freed by a group of animal liberation activists. Spreads quickly, and 20 days later, this guy wakes up from a coma in a London hospital. And the story of he's just running around, meeting different people. Has sort of a happy ending where after some time, the zombies, because of no food, they just stop moving and starve to death. But also very nice movie. So far, none of the zombies are actually rotting or breaking down or like traditional zombies. The first movie was like a mental zombie virus. Second one was a mental type zombie virus. 20 in I Am Legend, the zombies were not actually zombies, but just devolving humans who were acting more like animals. And in 28 days later, it was like a rage-inducing zombies, rage-based zombie outbreak. So that was interesting. And another favorite, The Girl with All the Gifts. Uh, this is a great movie because kind of deviated from the norm. The first time we are not dealing with science as a cause of the outbreak, we're talking about a parasitic fungus that just came out of nature, I guess. And it's kind of great because the people who actually survive or the people who actually immune to this virus are the children of the women who got infected by the virus, by the fungus during the outbreak. And so their kids were sort of like half zombie, half kids. They just look like normal kids, but if you put food in front of them, they go into like this zombie drone-like states, and they just want to eat. And as soon as they're fed, they go back to being kids. So it was kind of nice seeing the kids switching back and forth between the zombies and the kids. And actually, like this movie because in the end, spoiler alert, the kids actually end up creating a new society, and all the old people fall away and die. So kind of like a rebirth story to go along with the zombie story. Nice movie. And finally, the final movie we'll be looking at is Wormwood. This is a great low budget Australian movie. Kind of liked it because of Wormwood. If anyone has read the Bible, they know that Wormwood is comet or asteroid that comes down at the end of days to just cause more drama on top of all the drama. So yeah, if you don't know about Wormwood, look it up. So this is not a typical zombie movie with rotting zombies, lots of comedy, and lots of weird science. So yeah, this was actually not caused by science as well. It was actually caused by some kind of end of day apocalyptic event. So the Wormwood comet has I guess spores that turn people into zombies if you're a particular blood type. And the only guys who are not infected, I think, were blood group O or something. But yeah, so not everyone gets turned into a zombie, and the guys who survive have to fight it out in the Australian outback. Great movie, great comedy, and yeah, it's actually one of the scenes that the zombie blood kind of like is used as gasoline fuel because all the cars stop working or something, and so they have to like hook up the zombie to the engine to actually drive around. It was really really funny. So definitely check it out. So yeah, so the whole point was why all these zombie movies? Why the obsession? Is it can't we just that afraid of zombies, or like is are zombies a very nice and scary topic that we all drift towards to? Like what can be more scary than zombies? Okay, we have ghosts and vampires, but zombies, yeah, they're trying to eat your family. So yes, zombies are the ultimate horror. So after that, I just wanted to check out some kind of oh, almost forgot this movie The Cell. This was a bit different because the zombies weren't actually zombies. In this movie, based on a novel by Stephen King, your cell phone does something to your brain and sends like some kind of signal, and after that, everyone just becomes super violent, and there's like a hard thing going on where everyone who's been affected by a signal starts grouping together, and like there's this hive mind thing going on. So it's also a very nice movie. Kind of liked it because of the it wasn't your traditional zombie outbreak movie. I just kind of like the whole technology point where it's actually that your cell phone is what gets you. So kind of liked it. It was really good. Now let me see if I can see something about the plot over here. Uh, yeah, suddenly an electrical signal is broadcast across mobile networks. So clearly someone broadcast the signal. Government, I'm guessing. Turning cell phone users into rabbit killers. I won't spoil the end. It's a very solid movie. So, looking at some real life scenarios where it's funny to look at the closest thing to zombies in the real world. Obviously, disease, and the first one is this CWD, chronic wasting disease. I don't know if you're keen on the news. I'm sure you've noticed in the last couple of years they've been like doing this new segment of reindeers and elk staggering around, drooling, looking confused, being unable to eat. Well, that's caused by chronic wasting disease. Progressive fatal disease that affects the brain, spinal cord, and many other tissues are formed and free ranging there. So basically, it attacks your brain and your nervous system. Belongs to a family of diseases called prion diseases. We'll be looking at that shortly. So prion disease is basically your own cells go crazy and they start forming protein in funny shapes and patterns that are not useful to the body. So just just break down and stop working correctly. So like other prion diseases, chronic wasting disease may have an incubation period of a year. So and clear neurological signs but develop slowly because based on your cells replicating in a different way, making different proteins. So some of the symptoms include drastic weight loss, wasting, because obviously the animal doesn't really remember to eat or doesn't know how to eat. Stumbling, uh, you know, zombies also stumble a lot. Lack of coordination, sounds familiar. Listlessness, drooling, excessive thirst or urination can replace excessive hunger here if you talk about humans. Drooping ears, lack of a fear of people. So yeah, lack of fear. I usually see when you're watching zombie movies and like zombies do not fear height, not fear anything really. You could be holding a gun and the zombie will just keep coming for you, being driven by hunger. So that's about it for the CWD. So brand disease is mostly for humans, yeah, and they have this very difficult word over here. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. This is the area. About 300 cases are reported each in the US. Can inherit the protein misfolding patterns. So these are the different types of prion diseases. Ish, sounds bad. Fatal insomnia. Imagine not being able to sleep until you die. Anyways, what causes prion disease? Prion disease occur when normal prion protein found on the surface of many cells become abnormal and clump in the brain, causing brain damage. This is abnormal accumulation of protein in the brain causes memory impairment, personality changes, and difficulties with movement. Experts still don't know a lot about prion disease, but unfortunately, these disorders are generally fatal. So, who's at risk of family history of prion? Eating meat, mad cow disease, infection from sieving contaminated corneas or from contaminated medical experiment. Actually, saw a story from France this year about them suspending all research in prion disease because there was a lab leak and two lab guys ended up dying or getting prion disease. They actually died, but they suspended all research on prion disease. Symptoms kind of like the chronic wasting disease of animals, but okay, this is in humans. Rapidly developing dementia, difficulty walking and changes in gait. Sounds very zombie-like. Hallucinations, muscle stiffness. Sounds very zombie-like. Confusion. Okay, fatigue. Okay, fatigue maybe not, but difficulty speaking. Yeah, so that's it for prion diseases. Here we have some examples of real-life zombies in nature. Some fungi, viruses, and bacteria have evolved a spine-chilling way of being transmitted from one host to another, turn the host into witless zombies. Zombie ants. So these plants make some spores that make these ants climb up plants and there's like a zombie trance. The ants fix themselves to plants. Then I don't know why they do this. Do this once infected, the zombie ant will mindlessly crawl to a specific type of location. Is it because they eat the plants or the plants eat the ants? So direct manipulation of the ant's nervous system. So if this can happen in an ant, I'm pretty sure someone in a lab somewhere can make it happen for you. Zombie parasites. The crypt keeper wasp. So basically, it controls your mind and you're unable to escape. Sex zombies, I guess, using fungi to Truly is a sexual part, I guess. Uh, it's interesting. Anyway, moving on from this. So just look at nature, it's quite possible that there's some fungi and some spores out there that can really mess with your brain patterns, making you behave in ways you would never have behaved. Um, Rabies could be some kind of rage virus. Dogs when they have rabies, they're very frightening. I want to see the rabid dog just drooling and barking, just want to chase and eat someone. So odd behavior, vomiting, excessive drooling sounds very zombie-like. Fever, lethargy, odd behavior, unchecked aggression, hallucinations, barking and snapping at nothing, self-mutilation, steadiness or disorientation. Sounds terrible. I imagine a human variant of the same disease. Yeah. And it's also to explore Neuralink owned by Elon Musk is like a brain sensor that picks up electromagnetic waves and translates them into a computer. So this is just different companies that do the same thing. I just wanted to highlight that it's not only Neuralink that are seriously investing into this brain interactive devices using electromagnetic EM fields. So Brainco is one of those companies, and if you look at this lady, she's wearing some kind of brain sensor thingy. Train your brain to reduce stress, focus, calm, combines an advanced wearable headband, proven neurofeedback techniques to help you feel better in just a few days per day. So you can see what's happening in your brain, and using those patterns, you can, I don't know, meditate better, see what's making you angry. Thing about this kind of applications is if you can read brain patterns from a human brain, I'm pretty sure there's a way you can send brain patterns to a brain. Kind of like the movie Cell, just broadcast some weird signal that makes everyone super aggressive. Because if there's a part in the human brain that is responsible for happiness or sadness, I'm sure there's a part of the human brain that's responsible for super aggro behavior. So I can just imagine the military applications for this. Just pass a plane overhead or a satellite and just beam some kind of EM field that just makes everyone go crazy. It's actually kind of scary and very possible sounding. Speaking of people going crazy, there's a story of Rudy Eugene. I don't know if any of you guys actually saw this story. Nicknamed the Miami Zombie. This guy was just having a normal day, went to, I think, the beach, and somewhere between his house and the beach and this guy he met called Popo. Just kind of look at this. During the eating meat film encounter, Eugene accused Popo of stealing his Bible, beat him unconscious, removed Popo's pants, and bit off most of Popo's face. Like, I was thinking of showing you guys actually the photos, but they're so gross. I didn't feel like it would be the correct thing to do to show you guys of the damage he did. So when cops showed up, like, they found this Rudy Eugene guy growling, and they had to like shoot him multiple times. See, the attack ended at 2:30 p.m. to 13 p.m. with Officer Ramirez shooting Eugene at once at first, which proved ineffective, and then another 4 times. So, kind of have to wonder what was going on with this guy. The toxo everyone thought this guy had taken like what bath salts or some other weird drug no one knows about, but they only found weed in his system. So, who knows? Who knows what caused this? This guy ate this guy's face clean off. His nose, parts of his forehead, cheek, and his left eye was left to be blind due to the damage to the remaining right eye. The guy ate this guy's face off for no reason. That just screams science experiment to me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it was just some weird drug, but mostly it's a scary story. So clearly, it's a part of the brain where, if triggered, can just cause you to be zombie-like, attack your friends and eat them. This is another crazy story. This is more of the same story. Look at this. This guy, Eugene's last word of Miami Carnival to his girlfriend. I'm going to be late. I love you and I'll be back. Does that sound like someone was planning to eat someone's face off a few hours later? Guess we'll never really know the true story, but it's a bit crazy. This is another crazy story. This Vince Lee attack. This guy was on a bus, and for some reason, he stabbed the guy, beheaded the guy, and started eating him while riding a Greyhound Canada bus. This guy said he heard God's voice and he's hearing the voice of God. So clearly, is a part of the brain that just goes crazy. Actually, this guy is no longer in jail. He got sent to psych ward and like a psychiatric prison, and eventually was released. Yeah, he's no longer in jail. Crazy story. This is also another story of someone going crazy and attaching someone. This guy, Big Latch, was a rapper from Texas. So he's spending life in prison. This guy tore open the girlfriend's chest and ate her lung under the influence of PCP. Crazy, crazy story. I actually had to Google PCP because I had no idea what that drug was. So phencyclidine is also known as angel dust. Name is a drug used for its mind-altering effects. PCP may cause hallucinations, distorted perceptions of sound, and violent behavior. Again, with the violent behavior, so clearly a part of the brain that can be stimulated in the right way and make you crazy. Kind of reminds me of that movie, The Crazies, I was talking about, where this US experimental thing or weapon or something fell into the water supply and people in the town started going crazy. Not zombies, just crazy, just murderers, quiet, contemplative, murderous people. So let's hope nothing like this ever happens. And before I wrap up, I just wanted to get into like some kind of predictions or some kind of prophecy. Starting off with Nostradamus, a French prophet. So he wrote a book about 500 years ago, and some of the things he said have already become true. The book is composed of quatrains, so it's like small poems, 4-line poems. So one of the quatrains talked about a great evil disease that renders sufferers half dead. The book he wrote, this pestilent she must of a plague will cause all the world to end, leave fathers and mothers dead of infinite stories. It sounds a bit dramatic and scary actually, so let's hope that never actually happens. And the final place we can look for predictions is the Bible, believe it or not. Actually, when I first came across this in the Bible, it kind of blew my mind. This is Zechariah 14:12. So it reads from the King James Version, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lordship will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouths. So basically, if you're against Jerusalem, you're a bad guy. You don't believe in God or something. You belong to the Babylon system. So just a bit of context. This is clearly talking about the end of days, or all the land so clearly shall be turned as a plain, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in a place. So it's clearly either major earthquakes that cause continents and plains to move about, and men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction. So, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be amongst them. And they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbour, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbour. And Judah shall also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel in great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and the ass, and all the beasts shall be in the tents as this plague. So not only will this zombie-like plague affect humans, also their pets and animals will be affected by it. So it's pretty ominous. Actually, like I was saying when I first saw this, kind of blew my mind that the Bible would actually be talking about zombies. And yeah, so maybe there's something to it. Maybe all the zombie movies and all the zombie books and obsession with the zombie stories is some kind of premonition of a future filtering in from our subconscious. So I only hope that's not what is going to happen, but it definitely adds more fuel to the fire. And finally, we dive into Revelations 9:6. In those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Sounds like zombies to me, because just to get some context, verse 5, to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented for 5 months. The torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he strikes a man. In those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. So clearly they are beaten or injected with something that causes them to suffer for a while, and after that I guess they want to die but they can't. So kind of wraps up a small dive into zombies. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I haven't freaked you guys out more. But clearly there's something more to these zombie stories. It's just not for entertainment. So take care guys, till the next time. Thank you. Bye bye.